Welcome back to the cinema sessions where we don't negotiate with kidnappers, but we do overanalyze action movies. My name is Keith, and as always, I'm joined by
Seamus. Hi, guys.
Today we're diving into Taken, the film that made every dad believe he could dismantle an international crime ring using just a phone and pure rage. It's got threats, throw punches, and the most effective use of a European holiday since Eurotrip. So grab your passport and your flip phone, because we're about to track down why Taken still hits harder than a double espresso. Scene.
Nice. Very nice, yeah. Yeah, well, again, I think this is the second in our America First kind of thing that we're doing here.
America 4 series.
Yeah, we touched on Rocky 4, a film which has some overtones of American superiority. And this film, there might be some kind of stuff we could touch on with that kind of American exceptionalism or something like this. But this film, if there is any uninitiated, but for the uninitiated, that was a pretty good intro, but I'll just do my spiel here. Taken is an action thriller from 2008, directed by Pierre Morel and written by Luc Besson and Robert Mark Kamen, starring Liam Neeson, Maggie Grace, Famke Janssen, and Olivier Rabardin. Perfect. Right. And Xander Berkeley's in it as well. That wasn't on my list here. The film follows Bryan Mills, a retired CIA operative whose daughter is kidnapped by human traffickers while traveling in Paris. Using his lethal skills and determination, Mills embarks on a relentless mission to rescue her before it's too late. The film has a 7.7 rating on IMDb with a Metacritic critic score of 51% and a user score of 7.6. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a critic score of 60% and an audience score of 85%. Taken was a breakout box office hit, grossing approximately $226.8 million worldwide against a $25 million budget. And on a personal note, folks, it's a good thing they didn't kidnap his wife, or there wouldn't be a movie. Am I right, fellas? But a bunch. Women, am I right?
Great way to start.
Yeah.
Get the misogyny out of the way early.
No controversy there, yeah. This film, I had the same reaction. Luc Besson simultaneously hits a sweet spot with me.
This seems like a very Luc Besson film.
Very much. It's in the good sense of it. And I had exactly the same experience as I had with an earlier film related to him. Now, he didn't direct this, just to be clear, but he's kind of heavily involved and he produced it.
His fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah, he did a film that's in here it's typically called Unleashed, but in other territories it was called Danny the Dog. It's the Jet Li film where he's on like a lead.
Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, and I adore that film. And I saw the trailer for that and I was like, that looks kind of stupid, but Jet Li's in it, I'll see it. And I love that film. I was blown away by it. And I remember simultaneously the trailer for this film, I had the same reaction. I was like, that looks a bit middle of the road, kind of weak, but I'll probably go see it. Saw it and I adored it. I prefer actually Danny the Dog, but I really was impressed by this film.
Yeah,
it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it created a career for little known Liam Neeson. Like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, famously, and there was a rake of like older gentleman action films. Like Pierce Brosnan did one, Kevin Costner. Liam Neeson is still fucking churning these kind of things out, basically. Those other ones were more straightforward, obviously kind of taking rip-offs. But
what a change attack in terms of your career trajectory. Like, it's out of nowhere, you are now action star number one.
Yeah, I cannot remember the name of the Jesus thing, but like before he made it big with, like, he was kind of a known actor, but Schindler's List kind of really put him over the top. He did do a boxing film where he's a big guy and he does very well in this. It was just like, why hasn't anyone thought of this before, basically? And what you get with it is simultaneously a great actor who happens to be able to do the physical action stuff very well. It reminded me a bit of, this reminded me of it, Charlize Theron in Mad Max Fury Road, where excellent actor. And then you're like, oh, wow, she's actually really good at the fight stuff. And same thing kind of happened here, because the film is good, but he is absolutely like what sells it. Like, yeah.
It's like, there's an old film, it was Chuck Norris film, it's called Silent Rage. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think of every time I think of Neeson's performance in this.
Right.
Just to do with the title of that film, not what actually happens in it.
Silent Rage.
Silent Rage. It's just, that's exactly how you describe him. Because you can tell when shit pops off, he is just laser focused and 100% rage filled. but has that calm Northern Irish sensibility. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's now. I remember when it came out, Empire famously gave it. I don't think actually famously, but it gave it 1 star. And this was at the time when America was in Iraq, and there's a whole Trump thing now, but that was back in the neocon kind of age, and it was seen as, and not unfairly, like just kind of an America first, like this guy will just trample over all you fuckers. You're not even American. Get out of my way. But watching it this time, and I think I always kind of took it this way, it depends on how seriously you take Liam Neeson's character or how you look at him, the tack the film takes, or what the film is maybe saying. It is complicated because Luc Besson and the director Pierre Morel, basically their follow-up to this was unquestionably a pro-war on terror film, From Paris with Love.
Oh yeah,
which is quite entertaining, but it's...
I love that.
Yeah, it is. It is like...
It was that Jonathan Rhys-Meyers
and John Travolta. Yeah,
what a film.
It is. Yeah, it's really entertaining, but at the same time, it is like us good, them bad. Get out of our way, with this
John
film,
Travolta, sorry, just to sidetrack, John Travolta in From Russia with Love is fantastic.
Yeah,
probably not as good a performance as he's had since like maybe the Face Off days. Like, do you know what I mean? He is loving. Like,
he was having a ball in that film. I want to say that was written for like Ving Rhames. It was written for like a black actor, and then he.
And but it's one of them. He just came in and owned it, because you can't imagine once you see John Travolta playing that character, you can't imagine the skinheads, big mustache.
It's a shame because that kind of flopped, and they set it up at the end like I was so ready for the continuing adventures.
I was ready from Georgia with Love, from Poland with Love. I was ready from Cuba with Love. I was ready for it all.
Yeah, where's the legacy sequel to From Paris with Love, guys? I mean, for fuck's sake, come on. What's Jonathan Rhys-Meyers doing that's so important?
He's probably drink driving somewhere.
He could fucking and God knows what John Travolta's up to. But now the first 20 minutes of this film are, I think, key to it. And even at the time now, with some of the political stuff I was kind of shaped in preparation for this, but the opening 20 minutes are genius. It is like, this guy is fucking ballless. Like his wife, he gets no respect from anyone. He's pathetic. Like, he's always upstaged. But he is the lunatic. I essentially take it as nearly a black comedy. Like, this guy, he's a psychopath. It's like the best thing that's ever happened to him, that his daughter's been kidnapped. Yeah. That is seriously how I read it.
Because we obviously the film opens up, he's alone. We see the former birthday parties of his daughter. And we kind of see this lonely lump of a man who's so analytical and so anal that he keeps returning to the same electronics store to purchase a gift.
Yeah, he's seen it. The guy says, it's actually fairly well done. Like, it is there to show you what kind of guy he is. Like I said, if I charge you $1 every time you looked at it, you probably own it by now. And you're like, yeah, what's up with this guy? Yeah. What I always noticed, and I noticed the first time I watched it, when he's wrapping it, when he's like creasing the wrapping around the edges, he's so precise. You could see it in his eyes, and you're like, who is this guy? What the fuck is wrong with him?
Like, it's all like, I mean, I hate to use the word because it seems to come up so often, but it's almost incel like in terms of his isolation, and he goes to his there is quite good back and forth here where he attends his daughter's birthday party, and the guy won't let him through, and he goes, I work for that father, and he goes, no, I'm a real father.
I'm a real father. Yeah, he isn't like, what's great about it is when I say, I'm not even sure if this is how I'm supposed to take it, but I remember me and my friend, when we went to see it, like laughing at some bits, like at how pathetic he was, like he brings her this thing that even looks kind of shit. Like
you see, once he arrives at the party, you see that his ex-wife is obviously married him to money. Like
she wants nothing to do with him.
He has like a cassette playing karaoke fucking machine. Yeah, but one thing that's really nice is the daughter loves it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you familiar with Maggie Grace before this film? Yeah, because she was on that show Lost. And I never watched Lost. I didn't know her at all. And she was like, when I was watching it this time, I had it in my head, she was like 25. And she is trying to play up the teenage thing. And if you know that she was a lot older, and because she's all like giddy and all this. But at the time, I just took it fairly straightforward.
It's very played well.
She's
I would have
grand,
believed
you know?
she was 17. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know the back. She's actually older than your one she goes on holiday with, who's supposed to be the slightly older
Maggie
one.
or something, is it?
Is that it? Yeah. Who comes to it?
No, you just said Maggie, didn't you?
No, yeah, her name's Maggie.
Maggie.
I forget the other one. Yeah, it's some other generic kind of a one.
Yeah.
But I remember me and my mate just laughing when the stepdad showed up with the horse. And laughing when it just cuts to this kind of wide shot of Neeson just standing there with the fucking karaoke machine at his feet. And I do think the filmmakers were somewhat aware of, come on, this is kind of ridiculous. Like, isn't it funny, like, that this guy's a psychopath?
But that's personally why I like a lot of Luc Besson stuff. Now, again, I know he didn't direct this, but you can clearly see that Pierre, whoever, is clearly a student of Luc Besson. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's always that kind of uncanny valley between seriousness and absolute ridiculousness. And he treads that line so well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it can almost make you question, should I be laughing at this or shouldn't I be laughing at this? And it's just done really well. And it's just great.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I was thinking about it because, like, it is like they go through a lot of hoops to set up, like, his daughter's so important to him. I still think the film doesn't, I don't know if it doesn't play on that, but I don't think it needs it, in the sense of she is essentially like what I think is called a MacGuffin, in that we don't really care.
Yeah.
But we just want to see this fucking lunatic.
But even that,
hoops, like,
but again, there's no fat in this film. So the following scene is he meets his old CIA buddies, and they all have and there's some really nice dialogue. Like, do you know what I mean? About, do you remember when we were in Lebanon and this guy from Hezbollah, and it's all really nice. It's men at work stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's really effective.
How casual they are about what stuff that I'm sure most people politically would be like, oh, you fucking bastards of the CIA. Like,
and even how it's introduced, how they start talking about her there at the kind of bro out.
Yeah. Well, he is so pathetic, like, because they're just like, oh, yeah, I think it's great what you're doing, and he's like, oh, can you believe my little girl? She's grown up. Yeah. Like, there is this pathetic middle-agedness to it that is the genius of it. Is because even I was young at the time watching it, but even that you felt like, in this context, okay, I'm a fucking loser. However, if this were to happen, I'd be the fucking man.
And like, I mean, we'd be remiss not to point out that the film moves at a pace, because almost immediately he's invited out to lunch with his daughter. Yeah,
well, we do have the Holly Valance stuff first.
Oh, that's right.
So the guys invite him. We know that his daughter wants to be a singer, which again, it's kind of intelligently set up. Like, he knows she wants to be a singer. Hey, do you want? And the guys expect him to say no. Hey, do you want to come along on the security gig for a singer? And he's like, yeah. And the reason is because he wants to, okay, she's a singer, my daughter wants to be a singer. Like, it's Holly Valance, who I was looking up on Wikipedia, right? Last night it goes, Holly Valance is an Australian, blah, 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 blah. And right-wing fucking, I don't know, crowd fundraiser.
Yeah, she's a shill. Like, she's a big proponent of, when you're young and stupid, you're left. Yeah. And as soon as you get older and a bit of money,
she's a personal friend of Nigel Farage, and she's like a big UK fundraiser.
Yeah, because she's a British citizen as well, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So she had a big hit with that song "Kiss Kissed," and she was naked in the video and all this. And I mean, I remember
all of a sudden she's trad wife.
I remember her well from that. But I remember I read an interview with her, and I thought she came off as kind of arrogant or something. Like, this is, God, I can't even remember the details of it, but she always was like, I was like, she's totally fine in this, like, playing a very
she's playing a pop star, and she is a pop star.
She's like, playing herself, basically.
Completely fine, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just,
I always found it strange though that they put her, they give her an American accent, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah, because I mean, she already is a world-renowned pop star. As an Australian
I want to say that song was some kind of a hit in the US, because she did make that movie DOA. Like,
Dead or Alive.
She seemed to just kind of give up on the whole fame thing. I think she'd be somewhat kind of a known figure, like the whole right-wing fucking thing. We'll go into that. But again, her character is just what she is. She's just someone who's very busy, and she's nice to Liam Neeson, but then when he says, oh, do you have any advice, she's just kind of blows him off.
Pick a different career.
Yeah, do something else. And I think she even kind of says, like, what's with this guy? Like, under her breath. Like, because it is, like, man, what the fuck? Like, don't even talk to, like, she shouldn't be talking to her in that scene, you know?
Yeah, and then, actually, this is where he's invited for lunch, isn't it?
Well, what happens then is this is it does kind of set up the thing is she is attacked by a guy with a knife.
It's very funny though because the crowd bursts through. It's almost like a fleeting zombie film. Like but it's like World War Z. Like
and they kind of like, get her out of here right now. And he's the one, your man. And it is like even the music is like down, and the knife kind of glints. Yeah. But you do get the vision of like, okay, there's something up with this guy.
Yeah,
like,
this guy means business. Because if you went into this film pure cold, this is the first time you actually say, oh,
this is an action film.
This man is trained in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. And we'll talk a bit more about the action later, but it's very credibly done. Like
it's very well done.
I've mentioned him before, but a friend of mine who's a stuntman, he when it came out, me and him were talking about it a lot, and he said, because in stunts and on movies that he would do, you meet a lot of ex-military people, and he says he just absolutely had that down. Like the way he stands, the way he carries himself, like he just seems like one of those guys, and like he did train up for it and everything. You know?
Yeah.
So then we have the scene at lunch where again he's just this emasculated mess where and I again, because a lot of the criticism like politically against the film is, oh, if you go outside America you're fucking this and that. I think the film doesn't necessarily take his side with it. I think it just happens to be that he was right, but I don't think the film is actually saying
everywhere is
the world
evil.
Is so dangerous. Because I remember me and my friend laughing at some of his lines where he's like, "Oh, you think you understand how the world is in your bubble?"
Yeah,
and you're like, "Dude, like fucking chill out."
We've all been on holiday, like, I know, and especially because obviously it's Europe that she wants to go to, and we're from Europe, so we kind of know better than maybe an American would that especially if all you watch is Fox News, you swear you can't leave the house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's because obviously the people behind it are European, and they know Paris and all this. Now it's not to say like Paris is a lot jankier than you would think, but I don't think we're supposed to take his paranoia seriously. I do think there's a strain of black humor going on here, or else they are just complete right-wing lunatics, and I just don't get the vibe off the film that they are. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I never got that feeling. I always got the feeling that I would have been on Famke Janssen's side initially.
Big time,
do you know what I mean? It's like, she's now 17 is a bit young to be going transatlantic. I can understand why you have an issue with it, but he does kind of over-egg oh my God, you have no idea what's out there.
Yeah, because she says... Even I remember not being convinced where she's like, hello, Dad, I want to go see the Louvre. I love museums. I was like, I don't know if I'm buying... I've been to
MoMA multiple times.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying this, but he shows up and I do... Again, I just don't ever take it as a film being like, oh, he got her there, zing, because when he brings the... I guess that's a thing in the US, you need the permission slip to leave the country or whatever.
Yeah, but it's not even that, right? Because before there's the real, if you really want to see the man emasculated, like he goes, oh, there's something else. And she goes, oh, I don't want anything else. And
off he goes, like he just cannot live in that space. Like it's just not him. But then when he drops it off, and she's like so happy, and then the ex-wife, Famke Janssen, why she took that role, I don't know. I know she got a series out of it and got a few other paychecks, but she was a fairly well-known actress at the time. But she goes, oh, wouldn't it have been easier if you just said yes? And he's like, wouldn't it have been easier if we talked about it? And I don't feel like the film is giving him the zinger. I remember laughing at it going like, Jesus, this guy he fucking can't handle himself.
But he's dead, right? I remember thinking like...
He was, like, I mean...
And even she knows, Famke Janssen knows it.
Yeah, at the same time, I was kind of on his side, but I don't think the film was really going like, isn't his wife wrong and he is right? I genuinely don't get the vibe that they were saying that. But then and again, like... They must know what their game they're playing, because then he finds out at the airport when he sees the map. And like, I wouldn't mind, but they're following fucking U2, the most middle of the road fucking gang of pussies. Like, don't get me wrong.
It's not like Zeppelin or something.
I'm so proud of them that they're Irish, but they're not following fucking Slayer or Anthrax or something. He's like, they're following a rock band. I mean, come on, like, it's fucking U2. That's what I mean. Like, I do think
they'd be the youngest people at a U2 concert.
Yeah, I remember at the time, I think it was like the guy in the Irish Times or something saying like, oh, can you believe, like, and the band they're following U2, and he was kind of taking it like the film was literal, as in like, oh, this is a rock band. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think that they were in on the joke. And I'm open to correction on that, but I do feel there's more, it's not as straightforward as like the kind of anti the film crowd kind of say, yeah. Having said that, they land in Paris and are immediately sized up by some fucking human traffickers.
And this, and you know immediately, like even if you come into this cold, you know there's something afoot immediately. Like the way,
there's no build up. There's no. It's just.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I think this film hit the lottery with in terms of because it's pacing, it's editing. There's no like from now you do not come up for air until the climax.
It's pretty.
Do you know what I mean?
That guy who picks them up, Peter, I think, that guy was like 30 years old. I couldn't believe it. I was like, he looks like he's 21 or something. And you can totally see like girls being like, ooh, this sexy French guy, you know. And
I do love the fact that, right, because obviously what happens is they share a taxi and they organise to meet later. And then we're blatantly told that there's something afoot because he rings up and says 2 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
And so,
swine.
But I always thought it was. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to. It's not a hot take where I'm trying to connect Luc Besson to the kind of slasher, what they do to women and slashers, right? But it's very clear to see what's going on when the one who's talking about having sex and she gets the rough ride, and it's clearly told us that Kimmy is a virgin. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very much those kind of themes of, well, the whore's going to get it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
That is just, she even says, like, I think I'm going to sleep with that guy Peter later on. And, French guys are good in bed, which I've never heard confirmed. Ladies sound off in the... Or gentlemen. A gentleman can sleep with Frenchmen as well. Good Lord. Oh, my goodness. Aitor, that one was for you. We have a constant watcher who keeps an eye on things like that. There's no defense of that. Like, that is just straight up. She's the bad girl, and you can kind of make, well, she has to die to show how serious the whole thing is and all this, but yeah.
Quickly we move on to possibly the greatest scene in modern action cinema. Yeah. And it doesn't involve one kick, punch, gunshot, explosion.
Yeah.
This is masterful writing on an epic scale. You talk about pure cinema. Yeah. This speech on the phone, because obviously in the lead up to the speech, he's like, well, it starts very early because he goes, I need you to get under the bed. Now listen, they're going to take you.
There's actually a moment where he's on the phone and he kind of does this turn to get his... actually, there's a nice bit I forgot to look up who did the score. Because she's on the phone and he goes, did you meet anyone at the airport? And she's like, no. And the score kind of goes, Eep. And she goes, yes, I did. And she goes, who was it? But there's also a turn in the score where he turns to get his fucking bag of tricks out of the thing. And you can see in his eyes, like, I am sorry, but this is like the greatest moment in his life, because he's like, oh, I'm useful again. I know what to do, because he doesn't know what to do in the square world. Yeah. But with this, he's like, oh, here we go.
You're in my wheelhouse now. Yeah. And just the line from when he says, get under the bed. Now listen to me. They're going to take you. I don't know why they were American accent. It's so easy. See, even us as Irish people, Liam Neeson has such a specific accent that it's so hard to mimic.
It's like Sean Connery. He just has a voice.
Yeah, it's like... It's not an accent that he's putting on. That's just him, like.
He's just embodied.
And it's so difficult to try and mimic, like.
Yeah, I will say now, the film in some of the action stuff, I actually think it's quite. And at the time now, I was very much like a fucking fundamentalist, like it should anti-shaky cam, anti-quick editing. But if you watch the sequels and what they could have done, if the guy that everyone calls him Olivier Megatron, it's Megaton, and he's the worst fucking director I've ever seen in my life. If he had directed this, which I assume was kind of possible, you have no idea how bad that scene on the phone could have been. He'd have cut on every fucking syllable. It would have been off. It just plays out in one long take on Liam Neeson's face. A good actor delivering
some of the best lines. I think we'd be remiss not to try and. What's he say?
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have is a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills which make me a nightmare for someone like people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. I said, if you don't, I will
look for you.
I love the way he says, I will find you. As in, like, let's just admit this. I will find you.
I know, I will kill you.
And then there's that pause. It's like, good luck. And brilliant stuff. Yeah.
And then right from there, it's bang.
Yeah, we are now. The next scene is a scene someone, and quite rightly, but I just go with it. He just shows up at the ex-wife's house. She's been taken, and they just immediately go, "Oh, well, all right." I assume so.
Because on the way there, he calls Sam, his CIA buddy.
Yeah. Now, in the defense, he's obviously gotten in touch with them before, and like he said, something wrong. Like you just kind of fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah.
But he said like the way that everything now is just he's like, I know what to do here. He's sending the stuff over, blah 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 blah. He's motivated, but he isn't. I would like, that's what's genius about it, is it's so perverse. Is like this is exactly where my life needed to go. Like this is perfect for me.
Yeah, but not only that. So just in terms of plot here, what happens is, because the stakes are high enough, his daughter's been taken, but then the phone call between Sam and Lenore's in the room as well.
Yeah.
And he explains what they're about, where they're from, what they're going to do. And then that line where he goes, and our analyst says, you've got about 96 hours. And then Lenore goes, till what? Till never finding her again. And it's just like,
yeah, that's why you get a good actress for your family. Yeah, actually, in some areas, like in Japan, for example, the film is called 96 Hours and not taken. And that's obviously, it doesn't, it's not a huge countdown target, but it is just always there in the background.
But it always feels like you're in real time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's important, but it's not like an.
Because I mean, obviously, like he's in LA and he needs to take a 16-hour flight to Paris.
Yeah, how long?
Do you know what I mean? And it just it's funny the way he interacts with Lenore's Famke Janssen's husband.
I was just about to say, yeah.
It's brilliant. He's like, you think I didn't do a background check? And then your man goes, it's not time for a pissing contest.
No, well, that's what's funny. That's what I mean when I say I think they're in on the joke, because he walks in and is immediately like, I am the big swinging dick here. Yeah. I know everything about you. And the guy goes, oh, well, now's not the time for dick. And I'm like, you were just dick measuring the guy. Like this, he is not a reasonable guy. Like that's where the humor, I think, comes into it. But yeah, he hops on the plane and he's listening to the again. He is like, as much as I'm kind of joking about the character, like Liam Neeson is locked into this character. He is just like blankly listening to that again and again and again. So he shows up, and I've noticed in nearly every scene where they just kind of open with someone walking along a street in Paris, they seem to have one of those fucking baguettes, like every time. So he's waiting outside the apartment, and he kind of sneaks in. And he does kind of a bit of detective work, and he figures out, it's this lad at the airport. Yeah. Now, as much as I was enjoying the film up to this point, when he pushes that young lad into the taxi and starts smashing his ribs, I was like, okay, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this.
But I love how you just see Peter inside the terminal, and then there's another guy there who's working as well, who says, follow him, or follow her. And it's just brilliant. And then the chase, because he gets pulled out of the car by the black guy, and then Peter's running up the slip road, and brilliant, and he's chasing him, and then
gets cream crackered by the
class.
Class. The fight.
I would have rather see that, not cut back to Liam Neeson, but that's just
they did actually cut it. You see him get hit, but it's
just immediate. You don't see,
because he was such a little wretch. Like, to be fair though, like in that scene, now you could maybe argue as well, like this is where some of the xenophobia gets in. So the guy he's nodding to is black, and they only really show Peter, and there's later another guy who's like obviously meant to be the French kind of guys, the handsome guys set them up. You do see like a twinge of regret on Peter's face when the guy gives him a nod, and he's like, all right, like and the same with the guy later in a flashback. Look, that's there. I just have to acknowledge it. You can make it that kind of what you will. I'll do the thing, the filmmaker, well, actually, the big bad guy at the end who sets it all up is American, so then it's okay. You decide whether you think it's okay or not. It's a fucking great action film. The action scenes, like this is the first kind of dragged out kind of a one. The editing is very elliptical, but it's never born supremacy levels of like, what the fuck is going on? Their individual hits are quite clear. And Neeson just carries it so well. Like when he's smashing the guy, it's very good. It looks like he's really mashing, like you believe, like, oh jeez, he's fucking this guy up. Like,
he's the real deal. Like.
Yeah. It's again, it's him where he's comfortable. as perverse as that is. So then we're introduced to the French Secret Service guy, who's just kind of, again, wondering, I want to say with a baguette or something. I could be wrong about that.
No, he's not.
No, this is
Liam Neeson sitting outside the cafe and he walks by.
That's right, yeah. They Arc de Triomphe.
And he does the whole old spy thing where he's reading a paper and he puts it down.
He walks after him, yeah. This is the scene with a famous line in it where he goes, I will tear down the goddamn Eiffel Tower if I have to. And once again, I just tell you, like, I see a bit of humor in that as opposed to I'm an American.
At this point, I didn't see it like that. I see it as a father who will do anything to get his child. Not
that's the other thing,
not the big American coming over. But so I didn't see humor in that. I given what we had just seen and how competent he is, I had thought of, oh well, this fella's the real deal. Like he will tear down the fucking Eiffel Tower if he has to. I didn't kind of see it as humorous, do you know what I mean? Well,
when I say I see it as humorous, it's because it's played so straight that I find it funny. Like, who is this fucking guy? Like, this guy is like, get out of his way. Like, that's what I mean is, where like when people say about, oh, James Bond should be X, Y, or Z, I'm like, part of the interest thing is he is this man of privilege who can walk into a room and it'll just be like, well, everyone's obviously going to do what I said. That's part of the James Bond thing.
Yeah.
The thing about the Bryan Mills character is he is sociopathic. Like he is like, you don't understand. This is what I want. Get out of my fucking way. It does not matter what I have to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the tension lives with the character and why it's an interesting character.
Yeah. And there's a great line from the Secret Service, the French Secret Service guy, and he goes, you found them that way?
Yeah. He knows fucking well.
And it's just a stone soil. It just cuts back to Liam Neeson's face and it's like, no.
What do you think? Yeah, and they did the Arc de Triomphe, I think, in the background, and I say they were actually. I did like how they actually, and of course they always would because it was Europa Corp made it. But if you look like the architecture and everything, it's very, very Paris. Like it just legit is not somewhere else dressed up as it. Like even when they're in interiors, you're like, oh, thank God they actually went there, and it's legit looking like the real kind of flavor of the city and all this.
Very cold and European, I would argue. Like probably not the typical Parisian view of Paris that you might get in some films.
Well, even like when they go into the Secret Service guy's apartment later, it just looks legit like that. Just like the way all the doors are kind of old but very tall and all this. It just has that real flavor to it. Now again, they would always have done it there because it's Luc Besson and it's French. But again, just kind of a nice touch for fairly done on the cheap film. Like apparently Liam Neeson just thought this would go straight to DVD. That'd be that, which I can kind of see from the plot outline. Like it's very, like when I saw the trailer, I was like, geez, that's a bit basic, innit? But Quentin Tarantino actually I heard him being interviewed by Howard Stern. He was like, did you see that Taken film? I didn't really like it. But he had a great take on it. Tarantino said, well, I just think people went to see it because they want to see Liam Neeson in a film. And this is a film that they would kind of want to see. And the two came together and, you know, you had magic, like box office magic. Anyway, like he is someone who like, oh, I love Liam Neeson. Oh, he's in this whatever kind of film he was making before this. Okay, yeah, okay. And like he was in like a Les Miserables film with no music in it. Now, I think that was about 10 years before, but no one wants to see that.
Yeah.
Him as an action hero. Oh, yeah, okay. And it's actually good, interesting. And it is, like, it's logical, but there it was the US, this was the biggest hit. It made like 145 million in the US and everywhere else in the world it was like 80 million. So it was in the US, it was the biggest hit.
Yeah.
They cut it down slightly in a bit that we'll get to. But then we get into a particular favorite scene of mine where, the Secret Service guy tells him, okay, they're kind of in this area. So that the opening of the next scene is that poor translator guy who's just waiting in like a red light district for a fucking.
And he looks so out of place, like, because he's holding his bag up to his chest, and he's
you can tell he's like, oh, get me out of here. And again, like, he is so unhelpful to the guy Liam Neeson. He's like, it's better if you don't know. Wait here, just do this. Like, he is not nice. He's not a nice guy.
And he pays him like. He goes, how much? What's your rate? He goes, what do you mean your rate? What is your rate? Yeah. And he hands him for 10 hours, like.
Yeah, you could have maybe given him. I'm sure fucking Famke Janssen's your husband gave him a nice price going over there, like, you know. But look at, well, the guy's doing okay. And then the poor guy is sitting there, well, like, this guy he just met goes over and starts talking to a prostitute.
Starts harassing a prostitute.
And he is so brilliantly, like, playing the clueless American there. Where
what's the standard? Standard can mean so many different things.
Is that silk that you're wearing? And when the guy...
I remember, I can remember when I originally watched this, and I couldn't understand the angle. Like, why was he doing
Okay.
that? Was he trying to extract information from her? But then obviously it makes sense because he needs to get the Albanian heavy to come over
He
and
needs to
attack
aggravate him.
Yeah.
The way he acts to that guy, he's like, hey, I ain't giving you nothing. Now, do you think, in the logic of the film, are they doing a thing where we hear English, but he's actually meant to be speaking French? Or do you think he's actually just speaking English to everybody? Because there are scenes, like especially later when he shows up at the bad guys and he just starts speaking English with them. And I'm like, wouldn't they all be
French speaking?
But there are bits where people speak French with subtitles also. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all.
I think that's just... I never even put it together.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed the film.
That scene didn't bother me because he's even playing up like being the clueless American. But the scene later, I was like, hey, this should be in French. But again, why? Who gives a fuck? Like, but I just thought I'd throw it in there.
You just ruined the film.
Yeah, I can't watch it now. So I remember it got really big laughs in the cinema. So he plants the bug on the guy, and then the guy's translating it, and he goes like,
"No, they're not speaking very highly of you."
Yeah, he goes like, they're not saying nice things about that. Got a huge laugh in the cinema, and about now they're talking about football. Now he's talking about heartburn, and there's a nice moment in that where Neeson just closes his eyes, and like it's very kind of real, like because you see it from the other guy's point of view, like. Who is this fucking lunatic? Like he just closes his eyes, like tell me every word. Because again, he's had no sleep.
Yeah.
So he's like, and he just closes his eyes and kind of zones out, but he's listening to every word, and you just get a feeling for like. That's what I mean when I say I think the filmmakers know this guy is a psycho.
Yeah. they definitely do. Like, yeah.
So then he immediately kicks the guy out as soon as he hears like, what's it? Fresh merchandise is causing problems. So get out. Yeah. He asked him for the Albanian dictionary.
Yes.
And then he's like, right, fucking sling your up, mate. And he
get on.
goes off,
he ends up at the construction site, is it?
Yeah. Now, as an actual European, this didn't bother me, but I remember at the time I listened to a review from American critics, and they were like, what's this with the construction site working at night? Even in Ireland, we've construction things working at night.
See, because what happens is, like if you go to Spain or anything, all construction is at night time because it's too hot during the day.
Okay,
now I don't know I know in Ireland a lot of roadworks will be done at night time.
Yeah, that's all I took it as.
Just to stop disruption, especially if they're on main thoroughfares. Like.
Didn't bother me. It just didn't. Yeah, who knows? Like maybe it's winter time and it's just fucking. No, it is meant to be the summer.
They'd be heavily unionized in America. That type of stuff. So they'd be in at 9 and out at 5.
In France they'd be on fucking strike or something.
Yeah,
Am I right,
exactly,
fellas?
yeah.
But a boom. Yeah. So he goes in and they've obviously set it up so these hard-working men. There's a bunch of sex slave women basically
in porta cabins on site.
Yeah. It's very, very seedy now, and it's pretty unsavory. But in the film's defense, apparently stuff like this is out there.
Oh,
and it's very, very
yeah.
like sickeningly common. And you'd wonder actually, do films kind of like with AI killing us all in the Terminator, do films like this kind of make people take it less seriously when it just becomes like a Chuck Norris kind of Liam Neeson kind of thing?
It is, but because they do achieve, because it really shows you, because it's one thing hearing Sam earlier on in the film explaining they're going to addict her to drugs, they're going to do this, but when you see it in like real time and the women can't sit up straight, they're all out of their face, and it makes you really go, oh, I'm locked in now. I want you to kill every one of these people. Like, do you know what I mean?
And they set up like the guy who was harassing him when he was talking to the prostitute. You're like, yeah, get that fucking prick. Yeah. So he goes in and he's going through. He doesn't no sign of propriety. He just starts opening the fucking curtains, looking in, and he sees his daughter's jacket.
Yes.
Immediately beats the shit out of the guy who's attempting to get it on with your one.
And this is the first kind of fake. Where we think it's her, we think it's her, but it's not.
It's just some poor girl who's completely off her fucking nuts. And it's like, oh shit. But
and I thought it was a great touch that he needs to extract information. But I think now actually, do you know what? I'm not doing myself out my own point there, because it's only just to extract information. He's not being kind.
No, he's actually quite callous later on, because he doesn't act like he doesn't. There's no moment where he kind of goes like, okay, I have a chance to leave. No, I'll do the right thing. He is a man on a mission.
Yeah.
And again, that's where I think some of the interest in the character comes in, is he's not your typical kind of an action hero. But the fucking guy is wander in, he starts, bullets start flying and fucking beating the shit out of everyone. It's a fairly well done car chase. It wouldn't be the film's greatest action scene.
No, but I think it. Not to say that the film is grounded in heavy realism or anything, but it's
believable.
It's believable.
Yeah,
and but even the fact that he drives through the porta cabin, and it doesn't explode, because that's what would happen. Like, do you know what I mean? If you drove through one of them. Yeah,
the film. Pierre Morel was also the DP, and it did strike me in a good way, as he's one of these people who's just like, okay, do this, okay, and we'll film it from here. Okay, gonna do it again, film it from. He just has that kind of vibe to it, which I think is appropriate. Yeah, which is appropriate for the film. Like, it isn't something that I'd imagine they ever did 30 takes on Anton. I could be completely wrong, and if they did that, and they still gave the effect that I got, even more fair play to them. Yeah, but it's very kind of straightforward and ground level kind of stuff, which I tend to quite like. It's maybe a little shakier than I would like, but I find it hard if you'd done this like with the absolute locked off, for want of a better thing, John Wick kind of a style. It wouldn't have worked. I wouldn't think. No. Like, the way they do it is appropriate for the style of it. Yeah. So then he checks himself into, his old spy hotel, and I remember at the time
there's a nice bit of dialogue there through the it's been too long.
Yeah.
He goes, it's just a room, +1. Yeah, and it's just because you have to remember, it's not doing the James Bond thing, but he is essentially James Bond. Yeah. So he has these connections. So it touches on it throughout the film, whereas it doesn't hit you over the head. He's not suave throughout or anything that. But when he needs to be, he's sociopathic. But when he needs to be, he's charm and charisma.
Even in that scene, like, he's kind of smiling at the guy, and this is what I mean when I say he's like, back where I belong.
Yeah,
like, I'm back in the spy world. Like, this is the life for me.
Yeah.
I remember, and I don't know, I'm not saying it's a trick the film played, but there is a bit where, like, he gets a wire coat hanger and he like bends it, and then he hangs the IV bag off it. And I remember subconsciously going, oh yeah, that's kind of good. He's improv and like using what he has. But I'm like, but here's a fucking IV bag. Like, that's really specialized equipment. But it's just kind of a clever touch of the film. Like,
because it almost distracts you from the fact that he has all these drugs and all these.
Yeah, where'd he get all this really specialized equipment?
And he couldn't get a bleeding proper thing for it. Like.
Yeah, I know.
But the coat hanger distracts you from it, because it doesn't make you go, now where did he get that from? It makes you go, clever.
It was very, very clever. Yeah, I got to take my hat off to it. And then, so there's a bit of downtime here. And again, they have a nice little touch where he's kind of settling into a chair, and he's like, okay, I'll finally try and get some sleep. But then his phone rings. So it's the Secret Service guy, and he's basically like, look, man, you got to fuck off. Like, he's sitting, they've set up a whole operation. He's like, here's a plane ticket out of France. Please leave. You're fucking up our whole city. And he's like, no, I'm not, essentially. And again, you just show how clever he is. He's like on the walkie-talkie instead of the phone.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Because they arrive, they find where the phone is, and then he's nowhere to be seen. He's on the other building, it's like little things like that is just really clever, because it makes you remember where you are and what film you're watching. This guy isn't just a rage-filled dad. Like, he is highly specialised and highly trained. Like,
he has a set of skills, a
particular set of skills that make him a nightmare for people like you.
That seems to be a common thing with Luc Besson. I really like how matter-of-fact his stuff is. I think I maybe mentioned it before, but there's a bit in The Fifth Element. I love The Fifth Element. And there's a bit, like, the action scene at the end is just Bruce Willis. And he's kind of similar. Like, he's just like, okay, don't worry, guys, I know what to do here. And it's very, very quick, like little bursts of action. And then at the end he goes, okay, these aliens, they won't fight without the leader. We need to find out who the leader is. And then they find out. And he just walks in and shoots him in the head. And it's really, really funny. But you're like, yeah, well, how do you want me to dress this up? Like, it's
it's the same with in Indiana Jones. Remember the guy with the whip? Yeah. And there was meant to be this big choreographed fight scene, and he just pulls out his gun. Well, what would Indiana Jones do? He just shoot him.
What are we wasting time for?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not fucking like,
And when you do that in cinema, it creates iconic moments, because it can get too contrived sometimes, where you're like, well, this wouldn't happen. Someone would just do this. And when the actor just does that, people go, oh, deadly.
Yeah, well, that's why, and I really do like it, but the end of Lethal Weapon always slightly annoyed me, because they have the bad guy, but then Riggs is kind of like, no, let me take him one-on-one, and I'm like, nah, he's already won. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and I know what they're going for, like it's honor or something like that, but I'm like, no, I just prefer let's just take care of this, shall we? Which is very straightforward. So the girl has come around. The IV bag did the trick. And again, he wastes no time, no sentimentality. Where did you get this jacket? And she says, oh, I didn't steal it. So he tells her where to go. And this is what I mean. They've the flashback. I actually found that kind of eerie this time. Now I'm a lot older. And I have a daughter now as well who's not traveling around following those YouTube bastards around kind of an age. But she's in the car having a great time with this guy, and he pulls up and he's just been fucking her around, and she just gets pulled out of the car. I found that scene strangely eerie.
Because again, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to claim this film is grounded in realism, but there is a sense of, holy shit, that could happen.
No, yeah,
like,
I'm sure
you know what I mean?
does,
and it really gives you the feeling of, because it can be easy to watch a film like this as men and just get behind the man and go, oh yeah, go in and you punch heads, shoot people and all this. But to give you a moment of what it's like for the women possibly watching it, to give you that moment of pure, because it really conveys the pure helplessness of it all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we can all sit there with bravado and go, oh yeah, I'd do the same thing Liam Neeson is doing, but you're closer to that woman getting pulled out of the car than you are to anything else.
Well, like as much now I've been saying, oh, it's a black comedy, and it's isn't like, to say that it's not playing on the power fantasy of what if a guy like this were set loose on these kind of a guys. That is a power fantasy, because that's what you want to see happen. Of course, in real life, it'd be a lot more fucking complicated than that, and it'd be a lot messier. But like this is like the dream version. And again, the guy who's leading her along, like he does have a moment where he goes like, I'm sorry. So he shows some kind of remorse, which they don't give to the other characters to be.
See, one thing that you mentioned there about the power fantasy. Now, another reason I think this film just clicked is because it marries two things together. The power fantasy with parental fear. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that shouldn't work. But it works magically in this film, because young people watch that and love the action. Older people watch that and were like, oh my God, can you imagine? And it married the two together beautifully. Now, I have no idea whether it's something they were going for or it just happened. But that's really where this film stands out above a lot of other kind of action films all the time. Well,
compared to some of the rip-off films, like they had the older male who was kind of still competent power fantasy thing going on, but they didn't have that.
What was that one with Pierce Brosnan? He's like a fixer in Myanmar or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the names of. And there was one of them called November or something like that, November Man or something like that. I can't fucking remember. I just know Kevin Costner made one, Pierce Brosnan, and there were others where it's like the older gentleman kind of, but they're still. One of them was, I think it was the Kevin Costner one, and Amber Heard was like a CIA guy, and he's like, you have cancer, but we've the cure for it if you do a job for it. So they got kind of fucking mad. Whereas this film, again, is it realistic? No. Is it grounded and believable? Yeah. But we come to now. I was very much enjoying the film. I remember very clearly and this is why I really love certain of Luc Besson's film, like the sequels to this are some of the worst films I've ever seen. But what he does sometimes, and he did it in that Danny the Dog film as well, where I said, okay, I see where this scene is going, and the scene didn't go the way I thought it would. And it was 10 times better than the way I thought it was going. So he goes into this house and he's pretending to be like the French police inspector. And there's a wonderful moment where the two guards at the door, and he's left alone with one of the guys. And the fucking look he gives the guy is if like you might look at like an insect before you step on it. Like he's just like, all right, you're fucking dead, mate. Like he just looks at him like he's a lesser form of a human being. The other guy takes him upstairs, and he's so aggressive.
But this is a great scene. It's genius, really good, because the way he plays it, he just comes in and he just gets straight away like, well, I'm here to negotiate the price and all this, like, and they go, it just went up 10%. And they're all looking at him. They're flabbergasted. Like, who is this guy coming into our house?
Yeah, and there's a great bit where he goes, we watch everything you do with the satellite. There's a bit where a guy like looks out a window, which is like kind of realistic, because he'd be like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. But even lines like, do you know how much it costs to change the lens on its satellite dish 200 miles above Earth and all this? Yeah. And because you can see it as kind of a tactic, because he's confusing the fuck out of them. He's not only is it alone in the guard, they're like, oh, I believe this guy is who he says he is. They're also like, what the fuck is he on about? Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, the way they do it, I was rewatching it, is because I'll talk about my initial impression. He's walking through the house and he's like, okay, two guys in there. Okay, there's that there. And he walks into the room and he's like looking around. In my mind, I was building it up. I was like, right, he's scoping the place out. They'll cut to 5 hours later when it's dark. He's in black, wearing a balaclava. He's come back and he's going to sneak in. And then he hands the guy the note and the guy says, good luck. And it's the flashback. And he goes, you don't remember me. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my God, he's going to fucking kill all of them right now. And I could not, but I was like, however much I was enjoying it, like it got so much
and
better.
Especially because how it's shot. Because like, you'd be more of the action aficionado than I would.
Yeah.
But just, it's such a closed space that they're in. And there's so many of them. I think there's like 6 or 7 guys plus Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And it's just so well kind of choreographed and shot. To my estimation.
It's very well done, yeah. Again, maybe you could have slightly taken down the shape, but like the editing, all the key hits are there.
And like, so he rallies them all. And then, and I love when he just pretends to be dead when the cavalry come
genius,
in, and he just bang, and he's just.
I will just forever, like, it's etched in my brain where he said, "You don't remember me," and I was, oh my God, and he goes, "We spoke on the phone," and I was like, "Oh, he has to do," and he goes, "I told you I would find you,"
I was like, "Yes,"
and he's like, "Oh fuck me," and he fucking and he's like just mowing them down, like shooting guys in the back, fucking all this. Just fucking genius. And then, so he's going through the rooms and he does not give a fuck about anyone who is not there for his mission. Like, he looks at the girls, no. And then he finds the girl whose name we can't remember is dead. Kind of comically dead, I have to say. She's kind of like,
she's outed, like.
Yeah, poor girl. Like, I mean, in reality, it'd be a terrible tragedy, but as a film, like.
But to be fair, there is he does close her eyes and all, like he does, like.
He does the whole thing, yeah.
Because I mean, but to his mind, she was part of the mission. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't solely his daughter, although she's the emotional drive for him to be doing it. He was rescuing these 2 girls, which is easy to forget. Which is why he shows that moment of...
And he doesn't seem to make a phone. But then we go to... Now, again, at the time, the people making this film would have no cause to say, oh, what are you talking about, guys? At the time, it was a huge thing that the US was engaging in torture, basically, and the whole thing in Iraq. And the following scene is a torture scene, albeit one in a movie where you're like, fuck yeah.
With some great dialogue as well. Here, because like where he's like, we used to outsource this stuff, but then we realised that the places we were outsourcing it to didn't have reliable power grids. You turn the light on and it might take a week for it to turn on. Here, not like that. It's like a steady flow. And it's like, it's so, because you know what he's about to do. Like, but everybody does. And you're just like, I'll go on, do it. Turn the light on, do it.
No, fuck him, yeah. I want to now. When I saw it in the cinema, you know he's jammed something in the guy's legs, but they didn't have those close-ups of like the nails in his legs with the fucking electric clippers on him. You knew well, but that's kind of added stuff. And I'd imagine this scene in the US was one of the ones that was slightly trimmed as well. Because
don't show them what we do in the dark.
Good lord, yeah. Maybe they just cut the dialogue out but left in the torture. Yeah, who knows? But
inside, put a bald eagle in quick.
I know it's a guy, and again, he just tortures the guy. Like, there's no 2 ways about it. But the thing is, I don't want to meet the person, I don't think, who isn't like, well, yeah, come on, like, fuck this guy. Come on,
we're not going to be sad over him.
Who gives a shit? Like, I mean,
like, it's not as if he's some fucking. You could argue he's a freedom fighter or something. He's a grotesque criminal who traffics women.
Yeah, there is, and look, we won't go into the politics of it, but sometimes I am told, if you look into it, sometimes you do get the information you want, because one of the things is how unreliable it is. But like, look, it isn't unrealistic to say if a guy has information and you're doing
because at the end of the day, if you're pushed, you will say anything. Exactly, you will say I'm a unicorn if that will get you out of that chair.
Which Neeson references when he said people get, when the electricity wouldn't work, the tempers flare and all this. And he has like, you tell me or I'll leave the electricity on until they turn it off for lack of payment on the bill. I remember again, me and my mate laughing at the outrageousness of it, But he eventually gives it up, and I find with French names, I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I think he does say Patrice Saint-Clair, but he gives him the name. And then of course he goes, and this is why I don't know for a fact that he ever saw it, but I know well my dad would have loved the bit at the end where he goes like, I believe you, but it's not going to save you. Because my dad, he loved all those Death Wish films. Like, he loved a bit. I don't know if you've seen those, but I've
seen Death Wish,
there's a bit in one of them where, like, a guy's wearing a crucifix.
That's the Bruce Willis film, is it?
Yeah, that's what it is. Fuck off. The guy, he's wearing a crucifix. My dad loved this, and Charles Bronson goes, you believe in Jesus? And he goes, yes, sir, I do. Well, you're about to meet him. And he shoots him through the cross. Like, he loved that shit. And I bet he would have loved that line. Now, I think the film was a little too jumpy and all that for him to really get into. But I know for a fact he would have laughed his ass. Now, we come to a scene, and I still wrestle with this, because I do think they were on the right side of like humor or like being on his side. But he shows up at the Secret Service guy's house, and the guy is like, who has been openly antagonistic towards him, so like, but he's being polite in front of his wife, who, and it becomes important later, seems perfectly lovely, his wife. And the guy goes and he puts the kids to bed and he grabs his gun and all this, and they're back having this kind of polite dinner table where Liam Neeson is playing it completely sociopathically. Like,
no, but yeah, because she turns around and goes, he's been looking for houses, and he tells them the address of where he just was.
It is brilliant, that bit where he goes like, they know someone from your office there. And it's so like his wife would have no idea it wasn't a perfectly pleasant conversation. And then just out of nowhere he goes, I hope you're not involved in this shit. She's like, and I remember again the laugh I got in the cinema. What shit? Like, she's so at sea, the poor woman. Oh, Jesus.
And then he just obviously this Secret Service guy stands up and he goes, I'll bring you to the airport right now. And
they do the cliche thing of where he drops the bullets and it's like, you forget things behind your desk. Like, well,
the weight of a loaded gun compared to an unloaded gun.
Now, I think it's a step too far for the film. It doesn't ruin the film for me, but I can't go along with a bit where he shoots the wife.
100% can.
You okay with that?
He gives it. He doesn't shoot her in. He doesn't shoot her in. He shoots it in the side of the arm.
Yeah.
He tells her he tells him it's a flesh wound. He could have shot her in the leg, in the chest, somewhere that's going to cause real damage.
I still find it a bit too much.
Because he has to. You have to understand. We're about 80 hours into his time now.
A friend of mine who I saw with made exactly the same point. I just thought it tipped it over into, and again, I've been very on board with the character not necessarily always being sympathetic. I just was a bridge too far from
him. He didn't have time to fucking mince words with your man, and he had to he had to
gotta find those WMDs, guys.
Yeah, exactly. We've only got 4 hours left.
What are we asking about here?
But 100% no, I was fully on board. Like, he needs immediately.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been surprised. Your children are next. I would have been happy with a line like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm telling you now, because the stakes are so high.
The last thing you see before I make your children orphans will be the bullet I put between her eyes. I was like, again, I think I wanted an uncomplicated film, and that did make it slightly complicated.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Not me though, because we're on a time clock. Yeah, like,
I would have thought you'd be Mr. Fucking these damn Americans coming to Europe.
No.
Fair.
Depends.
Eating their freedom fries and fucking,
yeah, but I didn't. I've never seen this film in that context.
Fair enough.
I think it's probably if this had been fucking.
Oh, I don't think I see it in that context. Just from the movie, I was like, I can't go where you're going with that.
Because even though he's playing an American, I know it's Liam Neeson, so I never connect that.
True, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I never.
But the build up and all that up until I just find
if this had been Sean Penn or something, I'd have been like, fuck this.
Actually, funny enough, he was in another film, your man Pierre. His career never seemed to have quite taken off the way I kind of hoped it would. He made a film with Sean Penn called The Gunman, where he's not really a Liam Neeson character, but he did make one with Sean Penn.
But that's what I mean. I would have been a lot less for that character, Sean Penn playing Bryan Mills, than I am for Liam Neeson playing Bryan Mills.
Well, they wouldn't have even, again, maybe I'm misreading it, but they wouldn't have had the humour of it, I wouldn't think. Whereas if I ran into Liam Neeson, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wasn't being funny in that. Why am I doing a cliched Irish accent? I don't know.
So the Americans can understand you.
By the way, should we just clarify, he is technically from Northern Ireland, but he's Catholic, so that's why he's Irish.
No, he's Irish, because he's Irish. He's born in the island of Ireland.
You tell Kenneth Branagh he's Irish to his face and see what he says.
I will.
Well, fucking go for it.
He might tell it. He might
Kenneth
say,
Branagh. Keith,
I want you.
I want you for Ireland, motherfucker. We're coming for you. On that bombshell.
Moving
swiftly along, indeed. We
find out who Sinclair is.
Yeah, we find out who he is, and he just knocks the guy out. Fair enough. I will say that one of the reasons the second one is fucking terrible, though it does start off with a good scene.
One thing here, he does say, apologise to your wife for me.
He does, yeah, to be fair. So that
all is forgiven.
So the sequel, I remember the first 2 minutes, I was like, this might actually be okay, because all those guys in the house were from one village in Albania. So the opening of the second film is like this mass funeral for like 20 guys. But the first thing they do is find that guy and torture him to tell him who Mills is. And I do remember being a bit upset, because I was like, I kind of liked him. Like, he was the likable, like he is kind of cold. He's like, I don't care where the extra money comes from. And maybe I'm morally lacking. I don't mind. I don't like him shooting his wife in the arm, but I'm like, Who are we to judge a man
you're a
who
fucking
takes money
capitalist,
from
that's
you?
why.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, money's money, folks.
Yeah. That's funny though.
What do you want to move back to the USSR? Yeah. I found him strangely likable, and I didn't like the fact that they killed him off in the second one. Call me crazy, but I think it's just the actor.
I just think because what the film does deal with, because I mean, obviously it's an action film first. Mm-hmm. You can, if you really want to get bogged down in the themes and everything, like. But one thing at its core is, yes, they are saying, you could go down. Look at all these foreigners in our country, but it's also the corruption within that country that allows them to do what they're doing, and he represents that. It's that Western guilt corruption element.
There is actually a scene in the house where Liam Neeson explicitly says, "You come to this country and you think because we're tolerant that we are weak," and you kind of go like, "Oh, I could see that kind of being taken by your Nick Fuentes types or whatever a bit the wrong way or the right way." Maybe you could. I don't know what's in these men's hearts, but I see the film as more of a black comedy than some people kind of do. But we go to one of these things that I have to assume exist only in movies, which is there's this kind of black tie event that's masquerading and covering up this horrible kind of black market kind of a thing.
I don't know. Surely things like this happen. Like, I mean, if you go onto YouTube, you can see live slave trade in
I can't think
Libya.
of any specific people who are extremely wealthy who were committing sex crimes, though, Keith.
Jeffrey Epstein.
I've never heard of him. And
Donald Trump.
Haven't you heard of Kash Patel? And he says those files are not what you'd expect.
And he said Epstein definitely killed himself.
Yeah, no question there. It is. It doesn't bother me, and I think it's a nice visual for the film.
It is cool.
And
it really, because throughout the film so far, we've seen the underbelly of the women on the street and everything. But this is. Because because we love it's easy to get on board with a film where people who are destitute are doing malicious or bad things, because whether you like it or not, you can easily say, oh well, it's their circumstances, or that's just the way they are. That's why they are the way they are. But when a film challenges you and goes, well, hang on, this comes from the top down,
this is
not
the
bottom up.
Kind of, and it's even creepier.
The bourgeoisie.
Yeah. So he just shows his friend's ID basically to get in. Fair play. He manages. I do like how he just starts taking people out, like the guy in the lift. He's like, oh, you're not on the list. Check it again, please. Again, very flat. And then you brought up throw punches, or the amount of people he fucking throw punches in this. And he throw punches him, locks him up. I think there's one guy in here, they don't even show him knocking him out because it's so obvious he's going to knock him out. And then my personal favorite one, actually, he takes the guy's champagne and there's a security guy and he uses the tray to throw punches.
Brilliant. And then he ends up in the kind of, this guy is, I don't know what you call it.
That is quite creepy, the voting booth.
And what is it with, and I see this in a lot of European action movies, the Arabs all wear eyeliner, and I don't know if that's an actual thing or if that's just
good question.
What they assume.
It definitely gives a guy, like, look, you can argue whether it's right or wrong. He looks sinister. Now, the stuntman friend of mine said his only thing with this film, and me and him were very anti the shaky cam thing. We both agreed, no, it does it well. He did say, and I don't agree with him, but I want to get your take on him. That guy turns out to be the main physical villain at the end. I think it was good casting. My friend said he would have thought it would be a much bigger, beefier guy to be a genuine threat to Neeson. Now, I have my reason that I don't agree with him, but what's your take on that guy being the...
I don't think negative. I don't think it needed to be bigger. If you want to visually show intimidation or whatever, but scale over...
Yeah, my take on it was, and I thought the reason they chose a guy was he came off as a guy who was very skilled. He's in that position because he's intelligent and he's skilled, not because he's a bigger physical threat. And I thought that was kind of what the film... Everyone else was like a henchman.
That's what I just assumed.
Yeah, this
guy actually moves like a cat. He can...
Yeah, now, I don't know who the actor is. I've never seen him in anything else. But he just struck me, and he moved as someone who had legit training, who was a legitimate, like, intellectual, for want of a better word.
So we may as well jump into the thing. Yeah. So obviously what happens is he puts a gun to the guy's head and he makes him spend $500,000.
Yeah, on his kid. Yeah, so this is
no, $500 million, is it?
No, it's $500,000. It's $500,000. Yeah. Where so yeah, it is fairly creepy because the girls are so fucking out of it and like they're dressed up, but it is fairly creepy. Like I can't imagine it's
and
very
it should be
realistic,
pointed out here is we completely glossed over it. It's explained that we give the virgins to Sinclair because they're more valuable.
Yeah,
like a real kind of
yeah, very very nasty stuff. And again, it is very creepy as like it is kind of unrealistic. They're sitting in these soundproof booths with like single lights over them, but it's creepy and has a nice. It has an appropriate, not a nice atmosphere to it.
And obviously, then he gets captured.
Yeah, I do remember someone in the cinema. He walks out of the room and gets conked over the head and he passes out, and I remember someone in the audience going, oh, because you were just like, come on, like we're fucking right at the finish line here, come on.
But it's a great thing because Sinclair, there's a genuine moment from the guy playing him where he goes, it's my daughter, just give her to me, or something Liam Neeson says, and Sinclair goes, oh, I have daughters too.
Yeah.
Then it just changes back to business.
I was watching that again, and but like the fact that he acknowledges it nearly makes you hate him even more because he's just so smart. He's like, I really wish I could, but I mean, what? And he's this pure, perfect Yank kind of a fucking bastard. He's like, oh, fuck this guy. Like he's all the genteel kind of pat her down, but he's actually just a complete fucking piece of shit.
Sewer rat, yeah.
And then again, quite a good, fairly plausible how he gets out of it. He yanks the thing down, and he's clever. Like he uses the nozzle on it to spray on. I do like. There's a bit where he pushes the guy over like the railing, and he pushes him so far you hear a crack, and I was always like, I don't know exactly what happened, but that can't be.
I don't think he's going to work in the morning.
No, I don't. He might have a bit of a limp the next day. And then there's just the
scene where he then Sinclair is about to go open the lift and then he gets him.
Yeah, one in each arm, one in each leg, and then he's like, "It's just business. It's always personal to me." Boom, boom, boom. Nice. And of course, he's told them where they're leaving from. Again, a scene that I thought was maybe slightly overlong, the kind of car chase with the boat along the thing, because like, come on, he's going to get on the boat. But look, it is fairly well done. It can't have been easy to do. He gets on the boat and he just starts annihilating everyone. And there's a great... it's just nice the way he does it, like the way Neeson carries
whoever
himself.
It is, whatever he's meant to be, the sheikh of whatever.
Oh, Jesus,
He looks like Jabba the Hutt. Like,
yeah,
you know,
this is something, if someone were to say to me, that's a bit racially insensitive, all I can say is, yes. I don't know what else to say. What they were going for was... You hear these stories about these oil sheiks and the level of decadence, like the way you'd hear, like, it'd be like, you just hear stories like how evil and debauched like the Mexican cartels are or whatever. You just kind of hear that about these oil sheiks. And I think that's what, now, if you want to say it's racially insensitive, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just enjoying the film and I'm going along with it. But I do remember, I just have to, again, point out Neeson, the way he moves is so good. Like, you just really believe he's beating these guys up. But there's a great bit, he takes some guy out and the main guy is like, number 3, come in, number 3. And I remember seeing the cinema with a friend of mine, and when that came up, my mate goes, oh no, not number 3. But he's going through it, and yeah, it's a pretty straightforward but good action scene. Like, he's well motivated, he's an interesting character, he behaves in an interesting way. He just kind of moves through and is annihilating these guys, and it comes up, like, you can tell, like, this is a slightly more desperate situation, like it's an enclosed space and these guys are well armed. But it comes down to him and the other guy. And that's what I mean, is I thought it was clever to make it a wiry kind of a guy.
Yeah, because it's skill over, like, meat-headedness. Do you know what I mean? Because every other opponent that he's come across so far has, a lot of them have been they look physically bigger than him.
Yeah.
But he's been able to brush them aside.
Yeah, to take my friend's point, I maybe say, like, if there were a secondary guy who was just a big guy and then it came down to this guy, I just read it completely straight through. This guy is a legit threat because he's a bit more, he's clever and he's well.
Yeah.
And again, I did like how unromantic it is. He just basically, there's a point in the fight where he smashes the champagne glass into him and that's it. Like, it's game over. There's no...
But even then, when he gets into the sheikh's room and he has his daughter by the neck with a blade, there's no faffing about. It's as soon the guy says, maybe we can negotiate or something.
And he just immediately blows him away. Yeah. Well, what's there to talk about, you know? Yeah. All this, I like kind of little details, as sick as it is. Like, there's like 3 girls or something. And they're all in these kind of like lace kind of fucking cloaks or something. And I was like, yeah, I can kind kind of see that being this sick thing. They're like, oh, let's put him in those. That'd be kind of a nice touch. We don't want them to look X, Y, or Z. And this kind of shit does happen. Like, you can say that the film is a bit xenophobic, but like, it does actually happen. Like, it's pretty fucking sick stuff. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So they're good.
Human trafficking is real.
Yeah,
like,
and it's a, they're, look, you can argue it's exploitative. Or it was a good villainous kind of thing for an action film, because you are so like, oh, those motherfuckers. Yeah. So then
the film quickly wraps up with a nice little bow on it, really.
Yeah, and
they
she goes
home.
You came for me, and he said, I promised I would. And there's a nice touch when they arrive back at the airport, and the new husband is like, let me get the bag there, Brian. Because that's what I mean is there's an interesting thing with I remember, this would be way out, but like what I mean is when I attach a lot of black humor to this is, I remember there was this lunatic on YouTube once, I can't remember the guy's fucking name, but he was one of these guys, he thought he was a great boxer, and he fell in love with, this is a real guy, like, and he was delusional, but he was talking about how he loved Kim Kardashian, and he'd make all these videos like, hey Kim, I bought you these new high heels, and he goes to Kanye West when they were dating, he's like, Kanye, all your money, all your success means nothing. If we got in a boxing ring, I would beat you, and that makes me a better man. And there is something to the mindset of this film. That's what I mean. Like it's like, when you needed him, this guy can really fuck people up. So now at the end, the husband with all this money is like, can I get you back?
Yeah, 100%. Because obviously then the following scene after that is he's brings her to visit the Holly Valance character.
Yeah.
And
I suppose that kind of cuts again my point in that's actually him like existing in the straight world.
True, but with a new sense of esteem within that world. Because all any kind of rockiness that he had with his wife, with his daughter, is all gone. He is now the paternal protector again, which ultimately is what the film is getting at. That's what he wants to be. That's why he's given up his life so he can protect his family. But they don't want it because they don't live in that world. But now they know that world exists, and he has restored. He is now the paternal leader.
He's the patriarch, basically. He's the alpha now, for
exactly.
Yeah, and that's why
that's where, like, I mean, you don't want to get too bogged down in themes and what have you, but like, this film's all about paternal love and protection.
I think that's why the film was such a big hit,
because it just resonated.
Yeah, because of these themes, you know,
and even like his moral ambiguity throughout the film, and that actually, as we discussed, it challenges you as the viewer to go, oh, am I completely on board with this, or do you know what I mean?
Well, there's always
those
stuff in
themes.
action,
The fact that was there is, I think, why this was just like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. And completely relaunched Neeson's career. Like,
and some of them I don't think any of them really ever came close to this. But like, he was a very good action star. Like,
and it's not even that. It's like the relentless pacing of the film. It's tight. Yeah. Relentless is the only word that comes, because, like I said, once she's taken. You don't come up for air until he shoots the shake in the head. Do you know what I mean?
It never stops. Yeah, I want to say, I think it's called Unknown. That's there's one where he made a few 5 films with the same. I think the guy was French, actually, but it's one where he's like an air marshal, and it kind of follows the same thing, where he's someone who doesn't get a lot of respect at the start of the film. And then by the end, because of this horrible thing that happens, he's kind of, you know, regained his esteem in the eyes of everybody. And that just seems to be like a very strong thing for Neeson. But yeah, I've seen the second one, and it was so bad I didn't bother with the third one. So
I don't know. What's it? The wife goes missing or something in the second one, or
they're both kidnapped in the second one.
And then the wife is killed.
The wife's killed in the third one. Yeah, and I never. But I know, is it the third one or is it the second one that famously there's a scene where he jumps over a fence and there's 27 cuts in like 3 seconds. And it's not an exaggeration, because that fucking guy Megaton. Oh Jesus, he fucking ruined Transporter. I really like Transporter 1 is okay. Transporter 2 I think is great. Like, it's great crack. And then the third one is that guy with his fucking shaky cam and fucking hyper edit and all this. Jesus, he needs to fuck off. But I don't know if he's making movies anymore. But yeah, they fucking were terrible. Like,
so what before we get to submersible units, what is it that you think made this film pop so much? Because like, what's it now? 17 years later, and it's still, I'd have to say,
it's so obvious, but I think the themes and all that are certainly there, but why it was such a hit is Neeson. Like, he's a legit actor.
His performance in it, though, it's that, like I said, silent rage at the start. I think calm rage is more apt.
Yeah.
can't, because you can tell that this man is completely unhinged, but he is calm and calculated with it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just...
That's what I mean, the sociopathic kind of a thing.
But the thing is, and you're completely behind it, because you're like, if someone took my daughter, I'd be... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's the perversity, but the genius of it is it's the greatest thing that ever happened to him. That this horrible thing, but like he's just like, I know how to handle this. I don't know any of this other shit, but this is my bag. Like your money won't help. The fact that I'm a fucking raging lunatic is going to solve this problem for us.
But like, I mean, I think just in terms of an audience viewing it, like, I mean, it's just when you think of an action film, it's like it's simple, it's focused. There's no filler. Like, there's no subplot whatsoever.
No,
like, do you know what I mean?
No.
It's just one man on a mission. And it keeps you emotionally invested. And it doesn't lose grip.
Yeah, having said that now, you could argue like the opening 20 minutes are like, I think they're absolutely necessary, but I could kind of see someone being like, there's not a lot of action in this action film but that's the genius of it, is it sets him up and he's this fucking loser and no one has any respect for him, and then he's like, oh, here we go, my turn now. And that's what I think a lot of the other dads with guns kind of fucking films were missing. They weren't even dads with guns, some of them. They were just like, hey, I'm still hip
over
and
the
sexy.
hill.
And,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Non-submersible units. I got the last one, so you can go first.
Liam Neeson, and Liam Neeson, I would say. I mean, he is just legit amazing in it. And there's a reason it kind of ignited his career. It was very, very sad actually, because this was like a huge surprise hit for him, and then I believe his wife died in that accident the same year. Like, Jesus Christ, like I'd now be bad anytime, but I just remember thinking, oh Jesus Christ, like,
just get his life back on track.
Like. I know, yeah, Jesus. And he's just someone he's one of our own, and so mucho respect to him. I just thought he was great.
I'd echo Liam Neeson, but if I was to pick something that I will never forget, it's that speech.
Yeah,
will live on in the corridors of cinema history forever.
It's still well thought of,
because it's unbelievable. And how he I suppose it's more so about Liam Neeson, but just the writing for that speech.
No, even that's good. Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, and hats off to Morel for doing it in one take.
Yeah,
properly, not over. He didn't need to cut in because Neeson just.
It's brilliant.
What did you need? Yeah, very, very good.
Right.
Do you know, after all that, I'm not going to give it a 5. I don't know why. I can't give it a 4 though. I'll have to go 4.5.
I'll give it a 4, high 4.
Yeah. I don't know why I wouldn't give it a 5. There's something about it's just not quite 5 territory the way like Die Hard is or something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, if we're talking about action, like Die Hard is like your...
Yeah. It might be
film,
too straightforward or something. There might be something there like... But I can't quite bring myself to give it a 5. But look, I can't tell you why.
Luc Besson, Pierre Morel, Liam Neeson, they struck lightning in a bottle.
Do you know what it might be? I think it might be the film does lack, and I think this visual style is appropriate, but it lacks a little pizzazz, I think. And I don't know where, I don't think that would have necessarily been appropriate, but I just think for me that kind of holds it back slightly from the 5 out of 5 territory, but like excellent, yeah. Hats off to everyone involved, yeah.
On that bombshell.
Indeed.
We bid you adieu for another week.
Yeah, will we go anti-America next week? Let us know in the comments. What should we
Russia.
do? Yeah.
I'm sure there's some Chinese stuff we can watch.
Exactly, yeah, that film about putting fucking rocket boosters on Earth or something like that. Let's check it out.
Anyway, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you guys.
See you later.